Friends, fellow preppers, survivalists, and citizens of this great nation, I come to you today not with a routine update or briefing, but with an urgent message that beckons our collective attention. The year 2024 is here, and it brings with it a host of predictions that are troubling, to say the least. Uncertainty looms large over us, casting long, dark shadows that threaten to engulf our lives as we know them. But we are not ones to cower. We are the ones who prepare, who analyze, who stand ready to face whatever challenges life throws at us. And so the purpose of this video is to bring us together in these trying times and help us prepare for what lies ahead. We've always known that life in America is not always smooth sailing. It's a land of opportunities, yes, but it's also a land where survival of the fittest is not merely a phrase, but a way of life. And now we stand on the precipice of a time when things are about to get a lot harder. The signs are there for those who know how to read them. The economic indicators, the political climate, the social unrest, they all point towards challenging times ahead. You might ask, why the urgency? Why the call to arms, so to speak? The answer is simple, because forewarned is forearmed. Because the more prepared we are, the better our chances of not just surviving, but thriving in the face of adversity. As survivalists, we understand better than anyone else that preparedness goes beyond simply stocking up on canned goods or mastering bushcraft skills. It's about understanding the big picture, about staying informed and being ready to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances, and that's exactly what we aim to do here. In this video, we'll delve deep into the troubling predictions for 2024. We'll dissect them, analyze them, and most importantly, we'll discuss strategies to navigate through them. We'll cover everything from financial preparedness to emotional resilience, from creating sustainable living systems to building strong, supportive communities. The global rice crisis. As we delve into the complexities of the challenges that await us, the first point we need to focus on is the global rice market. The humble grain that has been a staple for millions across the globe is now under threat. The rice markets are in crisis mode, and this is no exaggeration. India, titan in the global rice market, accounting for a staggering 40% of the world's rice supply, has imposed an export ban on white rice. This drastic measure was taken in response to the dual pressures of the pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. This has sent shockwaves across the globe, disproportionately affecting rice importing countries in Africa and Southeast Asia. Countries that rely heavily on the affordable rice from India are now staring at a potential food crisis. Meanwhile, the United States, though a smaller player in the global rice export market, is also grappling with its own set of challenges. Producing around 20 billion pounds of rice annually and contributing over $34 billion to the economy, the U.S. rice industry is a significant player in the domestic agricultural landscape. However, changing climate conditions, including rising temperatures and issues related to water availability, are posing severe challenges to American rice farmers. The ripple effects of these crises in the two major rice markets are being felt worldwide. Rice prices have skyrocketed, reaching their highest levels in nearly 12 years. For the average American family, this could mean higher grocery bills and a need to adjust their budgets and dietary habits accordingly. But the impacts go beyond just the financial. The crisis in the rice markets highlights the fragile nature of our global food systems. It underscores the risks associated with food security and the urgent need for coordinated global efforts to ensure sustainable agriculture. As we face these unprecedented challenges, it's essential to remember that survival is all about adaptability. It's about understanding the changing dynamics, anticipating potential problems, and taking proactive steps to mitigate them. In the context of the rice crisis, this could mean exploring alternative food sources or cultivating a home garden to supplement your food supply. For those living in rural areas or with access to land, it might be worth considering growing your own rice. However, survival is not just about individual actions. It's also about collective efforts. As citizens, we can advocate for policies that support our farmers and promote sustainable agriculture. We can support local producers and farmers markets to ensure a steady supply of locally grown food. Remember, as challenging as the crisis in the rice markets may be, it also presents an opportunity to rethink our food systems, to build more resilient communities, and to create a more sustainable future. As we navigate through these troubled waters, let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Let's use this crisis as a stepping stone towards a better, more secure tomorrow. 2, understanding new minimum wage laws. In the wake of this unfolding economic landscape, the second point that demands our attention is the implementation of new minimum wage laws. As we usher in 2024, It is crucial for all Americans to stay informed about these changes, as they will inevitably impact our finances and daily lives. Leading the charge is California, the trendsetter, which has decided to increase its minimum wage. This decision will ripple through various sectors, significantly impacting industries such as healthcare and fast food. It's not just California making these strides. In fact, 25 states and multiple municipalities have plans to raise their minimum wages this year, with some aiming as high as $20.29 per hour. This is a considerable leap from the federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour, which surprisingly hasn't changed since 2009. These increases are not arbitrary, but a response to the rapid inflation we've experienced in recent years. Many states are adjusting their minimum wage to match or slightly exceed the inflation rate, an attempt to ensure that workers can keep up with the rising cost of living. The implications of these new wage laws will be felt far and wide. Take Marcelo Sandel, a delivery driver, as an example. Thanks to this legislation, he can expect an increase in his pay. In California, certain food service workers can anticipate an additional $1.04 per hour in their paychecks due to a $1.20 per hour minimum wage increase for fast food workers. However, these wage increases aren't without repercussions. Businesses grappling with higher wage costs may pass on that burden to consumers, resulting in higher prices for everyday items. The next time you order a burrito, don't be surprised if it costs a bit more than you're used to. As survivalists and vigilant citizens, it's essential to understand the ripple effect of these wage increases. They extend beyond just our paychecks or the price tags on items at our local grocery store. They affect the economy as a whole, influencing everything from the job market to the housing sector. So how do we navigate this new landscape? The first step is staying informed. Keep track of the changes in your state's minimum wage laws. If you're an employer, make sure you're compliant with these new laws to avoid legal issues. If you're an employee, know your rights to ensure you're being paid appropriately. Next, adjust your budget with the potential of increased costs for goods and services. It may be necessary to reassess your spending habits. Prioritize your needs over wants and look for ways to cut unnecessary expenses. Finally, consider the potential opportunities these changes might present. Higher wages could lead to increased consumer spending, potentially stimulating economic growth. For entrepreneurs, this could mean new business opportunities. For employees, it could result in better job prospects or improved working conditions. 3, addressing nutrition inequality. The escalating issue of food insecurity is one of the stark realities we face as we navigate the challenges of 2024. The United States Department of Agriculture reports that over 13 million American children are currently grappling with food insecurity. This crisis doesn't just affect children, but disproportionately impacts seniors and people of color, revealing a pervasive layer of inequality in a country known for its abundance. It's disheartening to learn that nearly 1 in 5 children and 1 in 7 Americans overall struggle to have enough to eat. Almost 50 million people have had to rely on charitable food programs to get enough to eat. The end of the expanded child tax credit in December 2021 has exacerbated the situation despite an otherwise strong economy. Higher costs for housing and childcare have offset small wage gains for many vulnerable groups, pushing them further into the abyss of food insecurity. Communities of color are facing systemic challenges that perpetuate their struggles with obtaining enough nutritious food. These challenges aren't confined to low-income families anymore. More middle-income individuals are also experiencing food insecurity, which indicates a deep-rooted problem in our system. During the pandemic, supports like the child tax credit significantly reduced food insecurity. However, once those programs ended, the numbers surged again, leaving millions of Americans scrambling to put food on the table. The pandemic highlighted the fragility of food security in our nation and underscored the need for long-term solutions. As we look at these alarming statistics, it's clear that the food banking system needs more help. Food donations and federal foods are down sharply, putting immense pressure on these organizations that millions depend upon. People can donate or volunteer at local food banks through feedingamerica.org, a nationwide network of food banks that feed more than 46 million people through food pantries, soup kitchens, shelters, and other community-based agencies. This past Thanksgiving, it was important not only to give thanks, but also actively address the growing national crisis of food insecurity. A holistic approach is needed to tackle its underlying causes. This includes addressing income inequality, improving access to nutritious food, and implementing policies that offer sustainable solutions to food insecurity addressing food insecurity requires understanding its root causes. It's not just about a lack of food, but also about a lack of consistent access to enough food for an active, healthy life. Many factors contribute to food insecurity, including low wages, job insecurity, high housing and healthcare costs, and lack of access to affordable, nutritious food. One crucial aspect of tackling food insecurity is enhancing the quality and accessibility of nutrition assistance programs. Programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and the National School Lunch Program play a vital role in providing meals to children and families in need. However, there's room for improvement in both reach and effectiveness. Another area of focus should be improving the affordability and accessibility of nutritious food in all neighborhoods. Food deserts, areas where residents have limited access to a supermarket or large grocery store, are a significant problem in many urban and rural areas. Encouraging the establishment of full-service grocery stores in these areas could go a long way in improving access to healthy foods. Furthermore, we need to promote healthier eating habits and nutrition education. Schools, community organizations, and healthcare providers can play a key role in this by providing education about healthy eating and offering programs that encourage physical activity. Finally, addressing income inequality is crucial in combating food insecurity. This means advocating for fair wages, affordable housing, and access to quality healthcare. It's important to remember that food insecurity is often a symptom of larger economic issues. 4. Aviation tragedy unfolds. As we navigate the myriad of challenges that America's facing, one incident that has sent shockwaves around the globe is the tragic collision at Haneda Airport. An Airbus A350 belonging to Japan Airlines collided with a Coast Guard plane on the runway. The impact of the collision triggered a serious blaze on board the Airbus, turning an already disastrous situation into a horrifying ordeal. The CCTV footage, though limited, provides a chilling glimpse into the incident. It suggests a violent collision between the two aircraft, causing significant damage to the left-hand engine of the Airbus. This catastrophic damage led to a substantial fireball, which quickly turned into a raging fire. As the flames engulfed the aircraft, a cloud of black smoke filled the sky, adding a grim backdrop to the chaotic scene unfolding on the ground. The fire has been burning for over 2 hours, despite the relentless efforts of firefighters who are battling the blaze. Their bravery and dedication in the face of such a dangerous situation are commendable. They have been working tirelessly, risking their lives to bring the situation under control and prevent further casualties. Most of the 379 passengers and crew on board the Airbus were safely evacuated, a testament to the swift response of the emergency services and the effectiveness of the aircraft's design, cabin layout, and crew training. Yeah, several individuals from the Coast Guard plane involved in the collision are still missing, their fate unknown. The search for these missing individuals continues, adding an agonizing wait for their loved ones. This tragic incident has shaken the aviation industry and raised several questions about safety protocols. The investigation into the collision is ongoing and will examine both human actions and aircraft design. This scrutiny is not intended to place blame, but to learn from this unfortunate incident with a focus on continuous improvement in aviation safety. The role of human performance in crisis situations like this cannot be underestimated. The decisions made by flight and cabin crews under immense pressure can be the difference between life and death. Their training prepares them to respond quickly and efficiently in emergencies, prioritizing passenger safety above all else. In the face of such a disaster, the resilience and courage displayed by the crew, emergency services, and passengers their actions remind us that even in the most challenging circumstances, the human spirit prevails. The tragic collision at Haneda Airport is a stark reminder of the unpredictability of life. It underscores the importance of preparedness, quick thinking, and the indomitable human spirit in the face of adversity. As we continue to grapple with the challenges that lie ahead, let's remember the lessons from this incident and strive to ensure the safety and well-being of all as we move forward. Our thoughts are with those affected by this tragedy. We hope for the swift recovery of those injured and extend our deepest condolences to those who have lost loved ones. We also express our gratitude to the brave firefighters, rescue teams, and medical personnel who have worked tirelessly to save lives and bring the situation under control. This incident, like many others, emphasizes the importance of resilience, preparedness, and the ability to adapt in the face of adversity. Qualities that are becoming increasingly essential as we navigate the challenges of our time. It reminds us that despite the hardships we face, the human spirit is capable of incredible feats, and together we can overcome even the toughest of obstacles. 5. Healthcare crisis escalates. As America grapples with a multitude of challenges, one of the most pressing issues is the alarming surge in respiratory illnesses across the nation. Health officials have issued a critical health alert warning of an unprecedented increase in COVID-19, influenza, and respiratory syncytial virus cases. Over half of the U.S. is experiencing this rise, fueled further by recent holiday gatherings and travel. The situation is particularly dire in our hospitals, which are reaching their highest levels of hospitalization since February 2020 due to the COVID-19 resurgence. St. Joseph's Medical Center in New Jersey, for instance, reports that COVID hospital admissions have more than tripled within a month. This grim reality underscores the severity of the situation and the immense pressure our healthcare system is under. Amidst this crisis, concerns are heightened for patients with comorbid diseases who present with more severe symptoms. These individuals are at a higher risk of complications and death from these respiratory illnesses, adding another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. A nationwide increase in emergency room visits and deaths compared to the previous week paints a stark picture of the escalating health crisis. In addition, there's been a significant rise in all influenza-like illnesses, including influenza A, RSV, and other viral infections reported across 31 states. This widespread increase indicates that we are dealing not just with a single disease, but a host of respiratory illnesses that are straining our healthcare resources. Compounding the problem is the noticeable decline in vaccination rates coinciding with the spike in cases. Less than 50% of adults and children in the U.S. are vaccinated for the flu or COVID-19. This low vaccination rate leaves a large portion of the population susceptible to these illnesses, making it even harder to control their spread. In response to the worsening situation, 10 states and Washington, D.C. have reinstated mask mandates in hospitals. While this is a necessary step to protect healthcare workers and patients, it also signifies a concerning regression in our fight against the pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention strongly encourage getting the flu shot or updated COVID-19 vaccine immediately to protect against severe illness. Vaccination remains our best defense against these respiratory illnesses during this crucial time. It not only protects individuals, but also reduces the burden on our already strained healthcare system. This surge in respiratory illnesses is a stark reminder of the unprecedented challenges we are facing. That underscores the importance of collective responsibility in safeguarding our health and that of others. Getting vaccinated, following public health guidelines, and taking precautions during gatherings and travels are not just individual responsibilities. They are social obligations that we owe to each other. As we navigate these challenging times, we must not lose sight of the importance of healthcare preparedness and resilience. Our hospitals and healthcare workers are on the front lines of this battle, working tirelessly to care for the sick and save lives. Supporting them should be a top priority. This can be done by advocating for better resources for our healthcare system, supporting policies that protect healthcare workers, and most importantly, doing our part by getting vaccinated and following public health guidelines. In conclusion, the rising cases of respiratory illnesses pose a significant challenge to America, but it's a challenge that we can overcome if we act responsibly and stand together. Let's remember that our actions today will determine the course of this health crisis. We have the tools to protect ourselves and our communities. Let's use them wisely. Together, we can ensure that our healthcare system can continue to serve us effectively, that our vulnerable populations are protected, and that we can return to normal life sooner rather than later. 6, China-U.S. tensions shift trade patterns. In the complex web of global economics and geopolitics, one development has recently come to the fore. South Korea, a significant player in the global economy, has seen its exports to the U.S. surpass its trade with China for the first time in 2 decades. In December, South Korea exported a substantial $11, 3 cents billion worth of goods to the U.S. compared to a mere $1.09 billion to China. This shift marks a pivotal change in South Korea's economic relationships, spurred by growing concerns over supply chain security, especially in the technology sector. The figures reveal a year-over-year increase of 5.1% in exports to the U.S., representing the 3rd consecutive month of growth following a year-long decline. While China's economic challenges partly explain the shift, 1 month of data does not conclusively indicate a permanent change in trading behavior. However, it's worth noting that despite China remaining South Korea's largest trading partner due to imports, there has been a consistent rise in exports to the U.S. over the past 5 months. The geopolitical landscape plays a crucial role in shaping these economic dynamics. The U.S. has been actively seeking support to curb China's access to cutting-edge semiconductor technology and reduce reliance on Beijing's supply chains. This strategy is part of a broader effort to address concerns related to intellectual property rights, national security, and economic independence. This situation places countries like South Korea and Japan in a complex position as they navigate their roles between their two largest economic partners, the US and China. Regional tensions, coupled with the changing dynamics of global trade, create a challenging environment that requires careful navigation. South Korea, a global leader in semiconductor technology, finds itself at the center of this tug of war. The country's tech companies play a vital role in both the US and Chinese supply chains, making it a key player in this geopolitical standoff. The surge in US-Korea trade reflects the broader shifts happening in global trade relationships. It highlights how geopolitical tensions can reshape economic landscapes, forcing countries to reassess their alliances and strategies. In the case of South Korea, the increase in trade with the US might also reflect an effort to diversify its economic partnerships. By enhancing its ties with other significant economies, South Korea can potentially reduce its dependency on any single market, thereby insulating itself from potential shocks or disruptions. However, this strategy is not without its challenges. Balancing its relationships with the US and China will require careful diplomacy. South Korea will need to navigate the increasingly tense rivalry between the two superpowers while protecting its economic interests. The US-Korea trade surge also offers valuable lessons for other countries. It underscores the importance of flexibility and adaptability in today's rapidly changing global economy.